This is Matt for Boxing Social. I'm delighted to be joined by one of the most promising talents in boxing in Keyshawn Davis. Keyshawn, look, thanks for joining us. I know it's very close to Christmas. I appreciate your time. How are things? You put yourself on mute.
Yeah, my bad. I was saying, things is good. Things is good. I'm happy to be home, man.
Yeah. First off, how would you assess your last year, 2022? You had 3 fights, another year of learning, and more recently you managed to collect your first belt in boxing. How would you assess 2022?
2022 was it was a great year for me, I would say. You know, it was definitely a great year, but it was tough as well. I was getting sick throughout this year. I missed 2 fights, and I was supposed to have at least one more fight this year. But so this year was tough, but it still ended off great, I would say.
How frustrating is it when you're sort of preparing yourself for fights and you're wanting to get these fights in, especially when you're so early on in your pro career, then you have to deal with illness and sickness and things like
that? I really take it like day by day for real, especially when I was getting sick. When I was getting sick, I wasn't really worried about boxing. Mm-hmm. I wasn't worried about anything but just getting better. Mm-hmm. So I live first, Yeah. So I really just took it day by day. And after I got better and I actually found out what was really wrong with me and the medication they gave me and stuff, things just started rolling after that, I would say.
Yeah. Well, you're fresh off a victory, first title we just mentioned a couple of weeks ago. How do you assess your performance? How do you grade yourself?
I give myself like a B+. A solid B+. Yeah.
What could you have done differently to get yourself an A?
I could have switched the tempo more. Mm-hmm. I could have switched the tempo more. I could have sat down on my body shots, or a lot of body shots more. I could have exchanged a little bit different. I could have did a lot of things differently, but I got a solid window at the end of the day.
Yeah. Are you your own biggest critic? When you've had a victory like that, where it's like either a shutout or a knockout, do you watch your fight back and proper over-analyze yourself and things you could do to improve? Or do you leave that
for sure? Yeah. For sure. I'm definitely my worst. Like every fight I have, it's gonna be the first time I watch it. It's probably the only time where I be like, "Dang, I did all of that." But after that first time I watched it, it's like, man, you could have did this and that and that. A lot of things, and I just get in that mode, like, man, I gotta get back in the gym or or I just gotta get better, period. So I feel like I'm definitely my own worst critic, can't nobody be more harder on me than me.
Yeah, absolutely. I spoke to Bob Arum yesterday, and we brought you up obviously because you're one of his promising young talents, and I said, what do you think of Keyshawn Davis? Big year next year coming up. And he likened you to a young Sugar Ray Leonard. When you hear them words from someone like Bob Arum, he's promoted the likes of Muhammad Ali, Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao, the list goes on and on, and he's still doing it now at 91. He says, you guys, you type of the guys who keep him young in the sport. What does that feel like when you get a compliment like that of someone like Bob?
Bob Arum, he legendary, man.
Yeah.
His first fighter, he worked with Muhammad Ali. So, and he compared me to, Sugar Ray Leonard. It's like, shoot, man, it's crazy, So
yeah,
I just feel like every time, I go out there, I perform, I watch fighters like them, before I fight. Like, me and Todd, the Buff was talking, and before this last fight, and he had me watching Ike Cortez. He got a real good jab, So I watched fighters before a fight, and him comparing me to Sugar Ray Leonard, I started picking up on watching him. So, that was legendary when he said that, though, for sure.
Do you sometimes have to pinch yourself and sort of realize you are in this moment, you are where you are, because you've not had it easy getting to the pro game? If people read your story, obviously, when you move from city to city, you were open about your mental health struggles and things like that. Do you have to pinch yourself and think, wow, I'm in top rank, Bob Arum's saying these things, you undefeated so far? Is it a bit of a pinch me moment?
Yeah, sometimes I be having that. Sometimes I be just, me and my brothers just be in training camp, or we just be sitting down chilling, and I just be saying like, man, we be doing it. Like all we have to do is just keep going. There was a time where we was watching, people that was pro, and we was kids, and we was like, look what they doing,
Yeah.
and they wasn't doing it on the level how we doing it. So sometimes we do just sit back and realize how much we are doing. So for sure, we definitely do that.
Who did you and your brothers watch growing up when you were coming through the ranks? Who were your sort of, I know it doesn't even have to be like a fight, but who were your sort of motivations growing up?
Honestly, when we was kids, it was just one fighter that we had in our area called 757, 7 Cities. And his name was Slug. He just fought Jared the same weekend I fought.
Yeah.
And when we was kids, Slug was kind of like a big name in our city. He was just knocking everybody out and stuff like that. So he was kind of like a person that, we knew coming up in our city. A couple of other local fighters and stuff. But when we was kids, we wasn't too much watching like real professional boxing. Like we wasn't watching professional boxing. I didn't start watching that till I was like 16, 17.
Really?
Yeah, when I was a kid, I was just boxing because it was a sport. I was just doing it because I liked the box. I wasn't in it because I was trying to be a pro boxer. That wasn't the plan.
What was the plan? What would you have been doing then if you weren't boxing? What would you have been doing?
Playing football and playing basketball. I was really, the football player Keyshawn Johnson. I was named after him. I was really supposed to be a football player. Like I was great at it. I was a running back, and I was great at it. I really could have been a football player, but I chose boxing, and me and my brothers chose boxing too. So
yeah.
We was all doing the same things, but we all chose boxing.
Where you are now, obviously, you've had, I believe, 7 fights in total. You got your first belt. Speaking to Bob Arum and said, how far does he feel you are off world level? And he's very keen not to rush you and rush the younger fighters, but you know your ability. How many more fights do you think you will need to start challenging? The bigger names. Not to put pressure on. I know you can't look past your next opponent, and you are in a learning phase, but you know your ability. How far?
I feel like, it don't matter in my next fight, but I feel like I'm ready. I feel like I'm ready. I feel like there's no point, of me waiting. I'm going to 10 rounds my next fight. I'm ready, at the end of the day. But I'm not sitting back and, matchmaking. That's not my job. Whoever gets thrown at me, I'm gonna tell them yes how I've been doing, But whoever they throw at me, that's what it is.
Do you have like your main goal, like your main achievement set out in your mind, what you want to get out of boxing? Is it legacy, like currency? If you have the bank account as well as the belts, what is it for you? What's going to sort of solidify your name in boxing? Will it be multi-weight world champion, just world champion? What is it?
I don't know. We have to wait and see, man. I can't, can't really tell you what, I don't really have a plan on what I fully like want to do in this sport. All I know I want to do right now is win a world title. Like I don't, for the next 10 years, I can't tell you. All I'm gonna tell you is anybody that gets in the ring with me, they just gotta lose, and I'm a whatever, have my plans out, then that's what it's gonna be. But I can tell you this, I don't really have like plans. Whatever happens, it happens, That's the plan.
Yeah, so I'd go with the flow. Yeah.
That's me, man.
How many times would you like to get out in 2023 then? You want to get out another 3 or 4 times next year, or maybe a bit more? Stay out.
Yeah, I'm trying to. If I can have it my way, I'm gonna fight 4 times.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I can,
yeah,
I'm gonna fight 4 times.
You have to speak to your matchmaker and make sure they do the things for you then. Let me talk about some big fights that are potentially coming up, because I want to get your opinion on it. I read somewhere you've sparred the likes of Gervonta Davis and things like that. Can I get your opinion on his potential fight with Ryan Garcia? Can I get your thoughts and opinions on that?
I feel like it's gonna be a good fight, to the styles is gonna make it a real technical fight, and I see it going 12, but you can't put in nothing past Tank, and I feel like if anybody would get knocked out, I feel like it'd probably be Ryan, but I still see it 12, see it going 12, and I think Tank should win.
What was that sparring like with someone like Gervonta, who's sort of in the mainstream, got his world title? What was that sparring like? Good for you, obviously, coming through.
Yeah, sparring was decent. Sparring was great. Sparring was great. It was back in like 2020. I was like 20 or something like that. This was right before he fought Leo Santa Cruz.
Yeah.
And he was in shape. I was in shape. And, sparring was fun.
What other fights you as I don't know, a box fan, what fights do you look forward to seeing next year that obviously don't have you involved, that you can sit back and go, you know what, I have to see that fight? What are the fights?
For next year?
Mm-hmm.
Of course, for everybody, Terence, Crawford, Errol, Spence.
Yeah.
That's self-explanatory. I want to see Tyson Fury and Usyk.
Yes.
I want to see if Devin Haney stays at 35, Devin Haney and Lomachenko. Yeah. Maybe I even Teofimo, Josh Taylor. Mm-hmm. Maybe. Yeah, I want to see Jerome Ennis back in the ring.
Yeah, I think everyone wants to see him back. Well, the fights you just mentioned there, 3 of them, I think Bob Arum mentioned that Fury and Usyk they've both agreed to fight, so that's good. And he's had talks with Devin about Lomachenko. So with 2 of them fights, hopefully getting ticked off. Spence and Crawford, are we going to see it? Do you think we're ever going to see it?
Hopefully, man.
What's your thoughts on the fight itself? So I think everyone just gets caught up in the is it going to happen rather than talk about what a great fight it actually is.
Yeah, shoot. I feel like the fight gonna play out and like who can probably dominate the middle of the ring, because both of them is dominant fighters. Both of them is not backing up the whole entire fight. We see Terence back up to in fights, but then he's eventually moving forward. Yeah. Errol Spence is a completely, not completely, but he can box, but he's a moving forward type fighter. So I feel like it's just about who can dominate the middle of the ring and who's gonna be right there and just control the fight for the most part. They both gonna have to watch out for big shots, because that can change the measure of a fight too.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's the reasons why it makes it be a great fight, because both of them is just so dominating and so controlling. That is really just going to come down to those determining factors.
Who do you give the edge to?
The whole team, man. I know what we're doing, to prepare for fights, and I know what be going on in our training camps, so
yeah.
I just feel like, the home team, can't nobody beat the home team, when we all locked in.
Is he someone you look up to, Terence Crawford? Do you sort of see him as a figurehead in the sport, someone who obviously he had a great knockout as well the other week against David Avanesian? Do you look at his fight, see how he does, and sort of soak up all that experience from him?
Oh yeah, of course. Of course. I always sit down and watch Terence. So even when he in the gym, I just sit down and watch. So in the ring, he's definitely somebody I look up to.
Before we sort of sign this off, I want to talk. We touched on it a little bit earlier in the interview. Before you went into the Olympics, you revealed your battle you had with mental health. We've got guys like Tyson Fury in the sport who were saying, look, we need to all speak out and things like that. You've got a message for anyone who's maybe struggling, people who are having hard times, going through difficulties. You've got a message for those people? Just obviously you come through the other side of it.
You're saying like just people that's just going through stuff like
struggling like with them. Maybe they're struggling with mental health. Maybe they don't know how to deal with it and things like that.
Yeah, man. Mental health that is something real tough. For each person that's going through something like that is different. Yeah, it's definitely different. So for anybody that's dealing with something like that, I would just say it takes day by day, it takes some time, but day by day, just feel yourself at least trying to progress, you know.
Yeah.
And everything, you know, will eventually fall in line, you know. And, you know, when the only time is when you know not progressing is when you know give up. So,
yeah.
you know, just keep, you know, taking things day by day, you know, just keep progressing, or at least trying to.
One thing that I forgot to ask you, but you got any aspirations to fight over here in the UK in a big fight? I know there's a lot of people I speak to in the boxing industry who speak about you and things like that. Would you want to come over here, this side of the pond, and experience these fans over here?
Definitely. I would love to come to the UK, you know. I would love to come to the UK. And shoot, if I can have it my way in the future, then I will come to the UK. So UK fans, don't worry. Because one of these days I'm gonna have my way and I'm coming to the UK.
Yeah. Tyson Fury undercard, something like that.
Man, I'm trying to main event in the UK.
I meant for now, just for now. But yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe.
Yeah.
It could happen though. It definitely could happen. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Well, look, I'm sure fans over here would look forward to seeing you fight. Thank you for giving us some of your time so close to Christmas. I appreciate it. We look forward to seeing you back in 2023 and doing your thing. So I appreciate your time.
Yes, sir. Thank you.